See if it's online.
Oh, crap. There we go. Okay, should be good.
All right. All right, good afternoon. Just as we're about to get going, I'll ask if the people who have called in can let us know who is on the telephone line.
Councillor Marks is on the line.
That as long as it goes.
Okay. All right, thank you. We'll get ourselves underway. Today is December 18th, and welcome to the Mayor's Health Roundtable, the Christmas edition. To start ourselves off, we'll have some opening comments from Mayor Peary.
Good afternoon. It's been many months since we've had this type of conversation with the media. We have continued on with the roundtable format every single week for months, but we're 1 week away from Christmas, and this is a critical time in the pandemic's future right now. I want to congratulate the City of Timmins. Everybody here has done a phenomenal job in keeping us safe. We've had all the agencies, the first responders. It's been a phenomenal response. The citizens have done a great job. Everybody has followed exactly the recommendations of the health professionals, including of course the Porcupine Health Unit. Having said that, it's 1 week away from Christmas, and no one here, when we sat here and had this broadcast Easter Sunday, thought that they would be here now, but we are. We're fortunate that we're in good shape right now in our region. We want to ensure that we stay in good shape in January and February. This is a tremendously important, and some would say critical period of time for the city. We know the vaccines are will be here arriving shortly, but we also know that we've got 6 months before we have the so-called herd immunity to take place. So it's to congratulate the city, all the residents, and say Merry Christmas, but also focus on the risks that we're facing. Just earlier this year, just earlier this day, we had a tremendous video that was shared by the city of Brampton. It's a very powerful message. All of the people here that are on this call have got that message, and we want to ensure that we say thanks, but be aware of the risk. So, Dr. Canton, as usual, you'll be first.
Thank you, Mayor Perry, and thank you, everyone. Sorry, I'll take my mask. So I definitely want to echo much of the sentiment made by Mayor Perry already. The Porcupine Health Unit team remains grateful for the ongoing sacrifices made by each and every one of you, all of our community members and community partners who've been working together across the Porcupine Health Unit region. It has been challenging, and we have demonstrated tremendous Northern spirit, resilience, and commitment to protecting one another, and especially our most vulnerable members of our community. I want to thank all of the partners across each community who have really dedicated so much time in working with us at the Porcupine Health Unit, and all of you to create the safest environments possible, to reduce the risk as much as possible, to conduct thorough case and contact investigation and follow-up, and to share really important communications with all of you. This is definitely an all-hands-on-deck pandemic, and we are grateful for all of your support, but we need it to continue. This is an absolutely critical time in the pandemic. Cases are rising across the province, and they're also rising incredibly across the north. I really wish I could say we were immune to this, but we are not. And despite all of the hard work to date, we must continue. We cannot let our guard down, even over the holidays. Our commitment to the measures that make a difference, that have made a difference, must remain. How we celebrate the holidays and how the next few weeks go will determine how the brand new year starts for our region. And I really want that to start well. There is an end in sight. It has been long, and it's not going to be a very quick road to the end, but it's coming. So please, please continue. We urge you to celebrate the holidays in person with your household members only. Consider alternatives to create memories with extended family and friends, virtual options, outdoors. Enjoy our vast, wide open spaces for a unique holiday get-together. If you must visit in person and deem that that's essential, remember there is a limit across the province, a maximum of 10 for provincial regulations indoors. Please refer to our COVID precautions if you do decide to go ahead with this. Masking, distancing, no buffets, hand sanitizing, not sharing drinks or food, all need to be a part of the holiday this year, regardless of where we are, if we're with anyone from outside of our household. These precautions and steps have served us well so far in protecting community members. At the same time, we need to remember community members that have been lost to COVID, and we need to remember the families and the workers and the community members that have been impacted by this pandemic. Over the next few weeks, I'm urging all of you to help us continue this. We must. We have too many community members who are at greater risk for COVID infections and for devastating outcomes. And we need to help everyone reduce that risk so that next year at the holidays, people do have their loved ones at the table with them back to normal. I'm asking all of you to limit your in-person gatherings to household members, as I've already said, and if not, to please practice the public health measures. Limit any non-essential travel in and out of the region, and keep in mind the opportunities to reduce the risk if you are traveling, both before you go, when you're traveling, and when you come home. Especially when you come home, consider loved ones, family members, and community members who may be at greater risk for an infection for COVID-19 outcomes, and consider ways you can isolate or prevent potentially exposing those individuals. Wear a mask, and please wear it properly. I know we've done really well with this. It's been a long time, but keeping it sealed over your nose, mouth, and chin at all times is incredibly important. Please keep it up. Continue to distance a minimum of 2 meters from others. And keep in mind, all of these things need to work together to help reduce the risk. It's not one or the other. It's all of the above that we need to continue to do in all settings. Please be patient when shopping. I know it's getting busy out there, and remember that those individuals working in these stores and shops, the business owners, have done so well to try and protect their staff, to try and protect all of you and all of us from COVID-19. Please continue to follow the measures. Be patient, be kind, give the distance, take extra time for shopping so that we can do that. and do it safely. Be thoughtful and reduce the risk for all of those around you. And this one is incredibly important. And I recognize that not everything is COVID. Everybody is right with those comments that we see. However, the hard part is we don't know that it's not COVID without getting a test. And while many of you may only have very mild infections, and we know many are very mild, there are also large numbers of the population who are at great risk for very, very poor outcomes from COVID. And we saw too many tragic outcomes as a region in the first round, and I don't want to see that again. So even if you have symptoms that are very mild, it may just be a runny nose, it may just be a sore throat, it may be a change or loss of taste or smell. That's a really important one we keep seeing. Please stay home. You're deemed contagious 2 days before you develop symptoms. And so if you stay home the minute you have symptoms and you end up having COVID, then we only have to contact you and do contact tracing for 2 days. But if you're out and about in the community and visiting with family members while you have even mild symptoms and end up having COVID, then we need to contact everyone and try and limit that spread as much as possible. So please stay home and call to get tested. On behalf of the Porcupine Health Unit team throughout the region, who continued to work tirelessly and adapted to the changes that we keep sharing with all of you throughout the last almost 10 months now, I want to thank you, all of you, for your hard work, for your sacrifices, for your commitment. And I want to ask you to please, please keep it up. Do not let your guard down over the holidays. Consider ways to be COVID-wise and COVID-safe and help us reduce the risk. Help us enter 2021 as positively as possible throughout this challenging time. I wish you all happy holidays, a healthy, COVID-safe holiday, and all the best for 2021. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Dr. Catton. And for members of the media, we'll be able to do a Q&A at the end of the session. Next, I'll go to Chief Loughran, who will give an update on behalf of the City of Timmins.
Thank you, Dave, Your Worship. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but I do want to talk a little bit about how proud I am of our community and people within the community. I want to talk a little bit about 9 months ago, and then at the end I want to put out a little bit of a safety message with some Christmas wishes. So to start with, first of all, I just want to say how proud I am of our community. I can remember at the start of this, we were talking about feeding the homeless, looking for food banks replacements, looking for PPE. This community came forward loud and clear, and so I want to thank everybody for that. I'm also very proud of my colleagues. So, I think of the hard work and dedication that the health unit under Dr. Catton's leadership, the hospital under Kate Fife's leadership, the city under His Worship's leadership, and Dave Landers. Your professionalism is an inspiration to me, and how hard you work has been unbelievable throughout this last 9 months. For me, it's hard to imagine 9 months ago when we first started talking about this, we did talk about that this was going to be a marathon and not a sprint. And obviously, as we look back 9 months later, we recognize that we are in a marathon. And at that time, we needed to follow all the healthcare guidelines to really lessen the impact on the healthcare system. And in the first wave, we were very successful, and nothing has changed from that messaging as we move forward today. But just some numbers for you. At the time, the World Health Organization was reporting a total of 179,111 cases of COVID-19. That's worldwide. And at that time, there was 7,426 deaths. Today, it's reporting over 75.2 million cases and 1.6 million deaths. Think about that in 9 months. Canada today, or as of yesterday, was 481,630 cases, almost 14,000 deaths. Ontario, 148,967 cases as of yesterday, 4,058 deaths. In our region, we're at 119 total cases and 9 deaths. Again, we've done well, but you need to be thinking about those numbers and how quickly that can change. 9 months ago, phrases like physical distancing and you're on mute or working from home, they were not part of our regular vocabulary or our work life. The community and healthcare agencies within the community have had to continuously reinvent themselves as to how we work, how we provide care to keep patients and our colleagues safe. Many people have taken on additional and different responsibilities to assist with the response, and that continues today. You know, I don't remember what month it was, but I'm going to say it was May. You know, the groups went up and cheered on all the frontline workers up at the hospital. And over that time, we've got mining companies, private people who have donated all kinds of gifts, PPE, dollars, to help the community go through some of those challenging times. Today, what am I asking for? I'm asking for people to take care of themselves. Please be safe. Follow public health guidelines, just as Dr. Catton has alluded to. Let's model the right behaviors with our friends and relatives and encourage them to do the same. Continue, this is important, continue to be kind to one another and to look out for one another. This marathon will continue in the new year, and I think there is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel when we talk about vaccines, but that's still a long way off, and hopefully we look across the finish line in 2021. How successful we are in doing that is really up to all of us. On a Christmas note, I wish you and your loved ones a safe and a happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and I wish you all the best in 2021. And again, thanks very much.
Thank you, Chief Loughran. Next, we'll ask for Kate Fife from the Timmins District Hospital to offer a message.
Thank you, Dave, Your Worship. Really pleased to be here today with all of you. Want to echo many of the same comments that have already been expressed. I think I wish to express my deepest gratitude for our frontline workers, for our physicians, our staff, our clinical teams and support staff that have worked tirelessly throughout this pandemic to be able to ensure that our hospital is well positioned, has the capacity in place to care for you and your loved ones in the event that you need our services. We've also responded quickly to many different challenges, including the opening of an assessment center. Working with our partners, it was important that we were able to bring the testing capacity to our region so that we could identify, respond, and treat those that are deemed positive as quickly as possible. Contact tracing is an essential part of our fight against COVID-19. At this point, I think it is critical that we continue to stay fast. It is so important that we all do our part to be able to ensure that we can stop COVID in its tracks, that we can keep our families, our friends safe. Ensuring that we reduce the amount of spread is critical for us in a hospital sector to ensure that we have the capacity needed to be able to care for those that are ill as quickly as possible. We ask you, all of you, to do your part to ensure that you're continuing to wear your mask, that you're following public health measures, that you're limiting contacts, that you're keeping your distance, and that you're staying safe.
It is so important at this point. And I know it's hard as we enter the holiday season. We're tired, we want to meet, we want to spend time with friends and family. It's just so critical that this year that we keep our social gatherings to a minimum, that we stay with our close household networks, and that we celebrate virtually with our friends. We create new traditions. Having the capacity for you and ensuring that our hospital is able to respond is most critical. And part of that is making sure that we can limit the spread of COVID at this point. So I thank you for doing your part, for the work that you have done this far, and I ask that you continue to take those measures as we move through the holiday season. So wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I wish you all the best. Stay safe.
All right, thank you, Kate. Next, we'll have Jean Carrière from the Cochrane District EMS.
Thanks, Dave. Your Worship. On behalf of the DSAP, so Cochrane District Social Services Administration Board, I would like to express our appreciation for all of the work that our staff has done. From our child care department that ensured that our daycare stayed open, that your children were protected, that they were safe so that you can get back to work. From our housing department that has kept our dwellings, our buildings clean to ensure that our vulnerable population, our aging population is at less of a risk and is safe within their buildings. From our Ontario Works department that is ensuring that people are funded properly, that there's money coming in to put food on the table, and that there are a few food securities for those who don't have it. And of course, from our EMS department, who have been involved, of course, from the beginning on the healthcare sector and assisting in our assessment centers, in delivering vaccines, and in planning in our future vaccine. And with all of the modification and changes that the paramedics and that our frontline workers have had to make throughout this last year. All that to say that we've done our part. The DSAB, the employees, and the supporting staff that goes along with that. And what we're asking you throughout the holidays and moving forward is that you do your part. And that will help everybody keep COVID at bay. It will help our resources to get replenished and our staff to actually maybe get a break. So I think that's a vital piece for all of the people who have been working diligently throughout this whole process and to have a positive future. So as you're celebrating Christmas, please ensure that you maintain all of the measures put in place by our health unit, and think about what you're going to do if you're going to be meeting socially. And take a really good look at those that are around you. You want to make sure that those people are there next Christmas. And that is a really important piece. We don't want to be exposing anybody to COVID or the viruses, and that we're not able to celebrate with them in the future. With that being said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be safe.
Thank you, Jean. Next, we'll go to Chief Gauthier.
Thank you, Dave, Your Worship. I'm going to echo some of the comments that have previously been made, but you know, during the last 9 months, the residents of this city of Timmins and this community have been very, very good. I would even go to the point of saying extremely good. They followed the recommendations from the Porcupine Health Unit and from this province. I'm happy to report that no charges have been laid by the Timmins Police Service, and at most warnings have been issued. I'm going to change gears a little bit here, folks, and talk about some of the concerns I have, however, and it's with respect to impaired driving. So since December 5th, which is 13 days, only in 13 days, the Timmins Police Service has charged 3 impaired drivers in 3 separate incidents. And that's quite alarming. Some people continue to use bad judgment when drinking alcohol. I can assure you that we will continue to monitor the motoring public during the holidays. We will initiate random ride programs or spot checks, and anyone found in contravention of the impaired driving laws will be arrested and charged accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay home, stay safe, enjoy the holidays. Let's all continue to make the right choices. On behalf of the Timmins men and women of the Timmins Police Service, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year. Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you, Chief. I have a few messages as well. First of all, I'd like to remind everybody to shop local. Not only is it safer, it's critical for our community, and you can find it in Timmins. Secondly, I'd like to thank the essential workers who will remain on the job throughout the holidays. Those people at the water plant, the wastewater plant, clearing snow, the emergency services, people working in long-term care and the health system, at the hospital, the Porcupine Health Unit. We know that there's no rest for them. So I'd like to offer thanks on behalf of my coworkers at the city to everybody who's going to go without. And speaking of going without, I'd also like to offer my thanks to all of you out there who will not be spending Christmas with loved ones, who will be, doing the right thing, stepping away for this year in our efforts to protect our future. So I appreciate everyone who's making those sacrifices. Finally, I want to thank the media. This has been I can't imagine that anyone working in media has had a more challenging year. And you've worked with us throughout the year to try to make sure that we get the proper and clear message out to what people need to do to keep themselves and to keep our community safe. So for all of those members who join, who report out the information that we need the public to know as quickly and as clearly as possible, along with everything else that you're dealing with, certainly a great deal of appreciation from me. At this point, I'll go to Mayor Perry for some closing remarks, and then we'll open up for a few questions from the media.
Thank you, Dave. And as I said, it's been a long 9 months, and we all remember how devastating it was when we had to announce the death in our community, how we felt and feel for their friends and family and loved ones. We also want to think about those that just didn't die of COVID-19, but were members of the community that were denied the right of a rite of passage, which is a celebration of life that never happened because it was not allowed during COVID-19, which was right, and a number of community leaders that we lost that are still right here in our heart. But it's Christmas time, and it is a time for love and celebration. And we do want to celebrate some of the significant wins that we've had, that we talked about. I want to speak specifically for those that were charged with the responsibility to keeping our most vulnerable safe, and the seniors that were in the facilities. And I love to talk about the successes of the Golden Manor and Carol Holt and her team. And I know the successes in the other facilities as well, but Golden Manor is the Timmins facility, and we like to call and be very proud of our leaders there. So again, we want to mention that, and the team that was developed within those organizations that allowed to keep everybody be safe. So thank you very much for everybody making and continue to make the most vulnerable safe. And again, it's a time of celebration. So I will, again, pick one example, and that's Mrs. Parsi and Spruce Hill Lodge, 96 years old, and she had COVID-19, 96 years old, and we just simply feared. I guess that's the best word we can come up with. We were just feared for Mrs. Party, 96 years old. But as I said, she has the love and as much devotion and faith of as Mother Teresa, and came through this. So we celebrate those windows and those wins. Where there's others, and I've only mentioned the one here today. So none of us want this situation to continue on as it has for the last 9 months here. And we want to be successful as we have been on the other side of Christmas. No one wants to keep doing this. We know there is that vaccines are coming, but we cannot let ourselves down on this. Every single individual is responsible for the safe and health of their well-being, and therefore their families. Everybody's done a great job, from the large businesses to the small businesses. They've done a great job in keeping everybody safe, and we thank that. We thank for the dedication and the effort that made our restart safe, and we don't want to lose all the accomplishments and the wins that we've had during this experience. So let's just simply do it. We know how to do it, and we can do it, and we be successful. We don't need to have any spikes, if we want to call them, in the new year. Christmas is 1 week away. We're almost there. And I guess to an old fellow that liked to do a bit of racing in my own time and keep the pedal to the metal. Let's do this. Let's not let up. So thank you very much. Merry Christmas. And we know 2021 will be much better than 2020. So thank you very much for all your efforts.
All right, thank you, Mayor Perry. Right now, I'll ask if there's any questions from the media. All right, not hearing any, then we'll close with this. So once again, thank you everybody for participating and for helping us get the message out. Have a safe and merry holiday.